Few great satirists manage to judge their work so finely that it can be considered both a rip-roaring, fantastical adventure story suitable for children and adults alike. Yes. As well as a searing attack on the nature of society, in his novel, Jonathan Swift has done precisely that and has bestowed upon us one of the greatest works of English literature in the process. A tale recognized far more widely than it is read. The story of Gulliver, a traveler who is in turns a giant, a tiny figure, a king, and an idiot, is both great fun as well as thoughtful, witty, and wise. The movements that are referenced in Swift's title are 4 in number and consistently start with a terrible occurrence that leaves Gulliver wrecked, deserted, or generally lost adrift. As that. On his first misfortune, he has appeared on the shores of Lilliput and rises and shines to get himself secured by 100 little strings. He understands that he is a hostage in a place where there are small individuals contrasted with him as he is a Goliath. The individuals before long set Gulliver to work, first of a manual kind and then at that point in a war with neighboring individuals over how that eggs ought to be appropriately broken, which makes no sense. I don't understand that. The individuals betray him when Gulliver puts out a fire in the royal residence by peeing on it. What the hell? Okay. Gulliver figures out how to return home. However, he before long wishes that he could get out into the world once more. This time he winds up in a land where he is modest, contrasted with the Goliaths who live there. Kind of the opposite of what he already was. He's small, they're big. After various close experiences with the enormous creatures that populate the area and accomplishing some notoriety for his minor size, he escapes. Hey Yusuf, how do you say that place? What's the place again that you said?
Culia. Bomb Ding Dong. Bomb Ding Dang.
A spot he loathed given the ill manners of its kin. When a fowl gets the confine in which he dwells and drops it into the ocean. On his third voyage, Gulliver goes through various grounds, including one whose individuals have their minds in another place. The territory skims over the typical earth, meaning, I don't know, they lived on a giant rock in the sky. I don't know why. That shit rhymed. These individuals are refined, savvy people who invest their energy in elusive and altogether silly interests while others live underneath. I remember while I was reading this, I swear it described Phineas from Phineas and Ferb as slaves. Gulliver's last voyage takes him to close to the ideal world. He winds up in a place that is known for talking ponies, called the, I still don't know how to pronounce this, Hownims or whatever, who guideline over a universe of brutish people called Yahoos. I'm gonna call the horses Google because Google is more superior than Yahoo. The general public is delightful, without brutality, unimportance, or insatiability. Every one of the steeds lives respectfully in a firm social unit. Gulliver feels that he is a moronic pariah. The Googles can't acknowledge him in light of his human structure, and he escapes in a kayak. At the point when he returns home, he is irritated with the shameful idea of the human world and wishes he were back with the more edified ponies that he left. Gulliver's Travels isn't just a fun experience story, or maybe every one of the universes that Gulliver visits displays the highlights of the world where Swift lived, frequently conveyed in a personified, expanded structure that is the stock in exchange for a comedian. Subjects are given impact with the long reliant on how well they are at going through the motions. A sideswipe at governmental issues, masterminds have their minds in another place while others endure. A portrayal of scholarly people of Swift's time, and after that, the most obviously, humanity's self-respect is punctured when we are depicted as the savage and confusing Yahoos. Gulliver's image of sin. Dying. Thank you. Gulliver's image of cynicism is gone for the ridiculing and improvement of society through a structure that is far expelled from any genuine political or social tract. Swift has a deft eye for a superb picture and a noisy, frequently off-color comical inclination. Recorded as a hard copy of Gulliver Travels, he has made a legend which suffers up to our occasions and past. Thank you for your time. Okay. What's this for? I don't know how to start this. Remember when we do research on Jonathan Swift? We should talk about why Jonathan Swift wrote it. Wrote, not read. Okay. This is all I have. At the point when it was distributed, Travels' robust, cynical, satiric life systems of the human condition appeared to verge on lewdness. In other words, like blasphemy, you know? The political parody was shocking, venting what Swift called his guideline of scorn to every succeeding measure and ministries. In Britain and Ireland, since the breakdown in 1714, the Queen Anne's Tory government, which he had filled, which he was like the propagandist of it. Yeah. In its legislative issues, the work is radical. Censures gathering in faction and the body politic and criticizes imperialism as loot, desires, subjugation, and murder on a worldwide scale. It mocks a monarchical empire yet shows little confidence in parliaments. In part 3, we get a little perspective on a current delegate parliament, a knot of peddlers, pickpockets, highwaymen, and bullies. Okay. Gulliver's Travels has a place with a custom of satiric and idealistic, non-existent voyages that incorporates works by Lucian, Rabelais, and Thomas More. Swift sees the type of prevalent contemporary voyage books as the vehicle for his parody. However, the work joins classifications containing idealistic and tragic fiction, parody, history, sci-fi, discourse of the dead, tales, just as a satire of the movement book and the Robinson Crusoe style novel. It is anything but a book to be made a decision by its spread. Like, you can't judge this book by what it says, how it is said, it's what it looks like. This book is weird. It's so weird. Everything about it is just, I don't know. It's oh my god. This was not a real travel book. It was, I don't know. I was reading it and I thought I was reading the wrong book. It was, what the hell? This is I'm speechless in terms of how you're supposed to even like look at this book. It is likewise not pursuer cordial, meaning I use a thesaurus, so yeah. It's not reader friendly because like it's, when we read it we think of how Swift looked at life and he thought the world was really messed up. Like he didn't like, okay, the re-examined 1735 version of the book opens with an upsetting letter from Gulliver in which the reader is summoned by an angry and cynical writer pursued
persuaded that the human species is too corrupted to possibly be spared, as confirmed by the way that his book has had no transforming impact on the world. The book closes with Gulliver, a pleased, fuming, recluse like person favoring horses over people. And notice any English yahoos with the bad habit of pride not to dare show up in my side. Like, he didn't want to see people at all. What type of drugs was he on? That's what you'd say if you read the book, but if you like understood what it meant, it's kind of sad. There's a koala. Okay. Anyways, yeah, some people might take the book for like front value, which sucks because you can't really like interpret what he's trying to say. He's trying to say all the political turmoil, everything that was going on throughout his time, and he was basically making fun of it. And you know, when you deal with political things, you can't say it, otherwise you'll die, or you'll die. So he wrote it in a book. It's kind of like George Orwell's Animal Farm. He talked about the Russian Revolution through animals, and this one he just took psychedelic drugs and talked about his trips. 4, to be exact. Kind of insane. So, like, from numerous points of view, Jonathan Swift is remote from us. However, his parody still issues, and the novel keeps on vexing and enraging, keeps vexing, like, people, humanity, like, we suck, which we do, and it entertains everyone today. So, like, I don't know. It's a great read if you actually read. But overall, I would like analyze the crap out of this book because it made no sense. I remember he was like peeing on a castle. It's weird. Honestly, I'm gonna go. Good day.